Welcome to the League. This is Real Takes with Major League, where I break down today's headlines and give you the takes that actually matter. Today we talk about Trump's economy absolutely tanking, how Hegseth's loyalty test is going over with Army veterans, and the Supreme Court gives Donald Trump yet another L. But before we get started, remember, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your community, and join the conversation down in the comments. Let's go.
Minus 32,000 versus an estimate of 45,000. Put an asterisk on that. We're going to explain why that's lower than expected in just a second. The goods sector down 3,000. The service sector down 28,000. The non-farm payroll estimate for Friday is 51,000. Now, this number here that you saw was a result in part of ADP incorporating those recent big revisions from the BLS in terms of their April to March 2025 numbers. So August was 54,000. That's now been revised down to minus 3,000 as part of an incorporation of a new growth rate in the job market that ADP picked up from the benchmark revision. So September minus 32 would have been plus 11 without those revisions. But this is the new reality. This is the new growth rate. Okay, now let's look back to the report here. What happened? Small business down 40, medium business down 20, but large business still hiring, according to this report, up 33,000. By sector, education, health services still really leading and showing the way, up 33,000. Natural resources and mining, 4,000. And you can see there the big decline there, leisure and hospitality down 19,000 on the month.
Thing number one. That new ADP report is ugly, man. September saw 30,000 private sector jobs lost. That's the worst in 2 years. But the real story is the revisions. August and June first reported as gains, losses now. That means the economy has been shrinking for months, even as Trump claimed it was booming. Thing number two. This collapse comes straight from Trump's policies. His tariffs drove up costs. He ignored inflation, and constant chaos in the Oval Office wrecked business confidence. Small and mid-sized businesses, where most people work, are being absolutely gutted. This isn't random. This is a policy failure. Thing number three, we're not sliding towards a recession. We're in one, and the data shows worse times ahead if nothing changes. Families see it in higher prices, lost hours, and smaller paychecks. Trump's spin cannot cover up this new reality. And while the economy crumbles, Trump and his friends are turning the military into a political circus.
Well, it's one of the strangest, most incoherent national security events I've ever encountered. It's okay for the commander-in-chief and the secretary of defense to order his commanders and their senior enlisted advisors to show up anywhere. It's okay for him to announce new policies. But at the end of the day, what we're seeing today, the president sounded completely incoherent. It was a bitter, partisan, sort of savage tone address. It must have horrified our allies around the world. I think it'll be unsettling to the force. And then Secretary of Defense getting up there and pulling a sort of a Rambo lecture with his, civil affairs officer status in an infantry battalion in Iraq, giving a Rambo lecture at a bunch of senior enlisted guys and officers who grew up in combat for 20 years. A lot of them are wearing Purple Hearts and decorated for valor, and their sons and daughters also fought, and many were killed or injured. So it was a strange event, and some of it was deeply unsettling. Who says we're going to train U.S. military formations in American cities?
Thing number one. At Quantico yesterday, Pete Hegseth told hundreds of military generals and admirals that they were too fat, that they were diversity hires, and that the women in their ranks didn't belong in combat. Today, veterans are blasting the speech as insulting and dangerous. He attacked people that have given more to this country than he ever would in his lifetime. Thing number two. None of what you saw yesterday was about the Department of Defense, the military, or even leadership. This was a loyalty test. No talk of strategy or even real security threats. Just demands for silence and obedience in Trump's culture war. That's how fascism creeps in. loyalty over merit, politics over service. Thing number 3, the silence in the room was loud, man. 800 senior leaders sat while their people were being smeared. Now the question is whether they'll keep defending the Constitution or become complicit in Trump's hostile takeover of the military. What they do next will decide more than just the Pentagon. And Trump's need for control doesn't just stop at the military. He's trying to hijack the Fed too.
We have breaking news. The Supreme Court is allowing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to stay on the central bank board in 2026. The justices did not explain their decision, and there were no noted dissents. Trump moved to fire Cook in August, citing allegations of mortgage fraud that predate her appointment at the Fed. Cook has denied any wrongdoing. Now the Supreme Court justices say they'll take up the president's appeal seeking to remove her during a January hearing. Senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer is here for more on that. Devin, how significant is this ruling?
A huge case, Diane, and huge stakes for the economy here and the Federal Reserve. Never before has a president attempted to remove a member of the Fed. Of course, an independent Fed is a cornerstone of our economy. The board governors are appointed spanning presidencies in order to have some independence to set policy. And the Supreme Court in this decision basically said they will wade into it and decide whether Trump's action was against the Constitution and against the law. That's a huge deal, putting the court right at the center of so many of these presidential power debates. Now, what the court will be looking at, Diane, is whether the federal law that allows the president to remove a Federal Reserve Board member for cause, what that means. It's not spelled out in the law, so they'll be looking at the definition of that and whether she was given enough process to contest the facts, because, as you said, she disputes those allegations.
Thing number 1. So the Supreme Court blocked Trump's attempt to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook. No president has ever tried to remove a sitting Fed governor. For now, she keeps her seat until a full hearing in January. Thing number 2, this move was about consolidating power. And of course, the first target was a black woman with top credentials. Trump wants to strip independence from the Fed and put the economy right under his thumb. That would absolutely shake markets and eliminate trust in the U.S. financial system. Thing number 3, and it's really important to note, Trump doesn't want stability. He wants control. This is the same guy who bankrupted casinos, airlines. If he ran the Fed, America would be his next bankruptcy. The court stop is temporary, but it shows that Trump's grip is not absolute. Thank you so much for joining Real Takes with Major League. As always, hit that subscribe button, share your thoughts in the comments, and share this video with your community.